Hey everybody, so I just wanted to document and put on the internet an idea I had that it's not a new idea or anything, but it's something that I've been working on the last like 2 days, 3 days, just to facilitate easy file transfers without really having any dedicated anything. You don't need your own IP, you don't need to have a static IP. I mean, you didn't have to have that before. I run an FTP server just because it's fun, but what am I trying to say here? Like, for example, my wife has been using my Samba server, my little server that we use for videos and stuff, as an external hard drive because her computer has like a tiny hard drive. It's like an 80 gig. It just runs the operating system and anything she keeps on it. So I used to run it off that, but then she put all the tax documents this last year on that, and so she's like, I don't want that on the line anymore. So the only person that has access to it is me. Username and password is just me. It's not secure other than username and password, but I've seen plenty of people from China try to log in just because they're fishing for an FTP server that's got administrator for the username and password for the password. And I kick them, of course. I ban them forever, or at least for as long as I keep that information. But it doesn't stop them from coming from somewhere else. It happens every couple of days. You'll get another one on there. But it's not really a big deal. I don't think. So I was thinking today or a few days ago to use Hamachi, that little utility, the little tool that it installs a virtual network card on your machine, whether it's a Linux box or it's a Windows box or Mac. From what I understand, I don't like Mac, but I assume it would work to run it off that. And so you would install that on both sides to facilitate the connection between the two machines. And so far, I haven't seen a method for this to work from like a mobile device, but that's all right, you know. Like, who downloads files from the internet on their phone, like large files? Nobody. It would take forever. You know, you do that once you've downloaded the file to your home machine, then you transfer it to your phone or tablet or whatever. But between your stations, between your server and your desktop or your laptop or whatever, this would work. So you set up a little Hamachi network, and it doesn't have to be anything you keep. You just delete it when you're done. Because from what I'm seeing on my Windows install of Hamachi, it gives you like you can have 5 different people on a certain network, and then that's it. You know, they want you to pay for it. Even though, you know, they used to say or maintain that as long as you were using it for personal use, you're okay. But anyway, this thing, so you do that, and then you set up an FTP server on the one side and an FTP client on. I mean, you know, everybody should have an FTP client. Windows includes it. You know, Linux includes it. I don't know if Mac includes it. I'm sure they do. But there are different utilities you can use to make it easier. But the operating system usually accepts FTP like client, like, you know, connections. You can connect to a server, just normal. So you can transfer files, and I assume because you are virtually connected to, you know, this server or these clients on the VPN that Hamachi makes, I assume that that's an encrypted tunnel. If I'm wrong on this, please let me know, because, you know, I'll continue my search. And this will never really end. Like, as long as they keep making file sharing harder, you work and you work to get it so that you're just undermining them every step of the way, just for fun, just to get them all riled up. But I'm pretty sure this is like a pretty hard thing for them to make to not work, you know. Of course, like for file sharing, you'd have to do it with people that you know or meet someplace, but you should be, like I said, like, if it's encrypted, then it's encrypted and nobody can see what's going on. So that's nice. I mean, I've been running my file server, my little FTP server, for years. and I never worried about it because, from what I understand, FTP traffic is just not really looked at. It's all BitTorrent traffic that they look at. But I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. But that's what I think we need to do. I mean, it does work. I made it work, and that made me also think, like, places that my first apartment when I first got married, we were living in a place in Idaho that had internet included in your rent, and it was fine internet, but it wasn't anything that you could. It had all the ports closed for like running. I mean, I didn't have my own IP, so I couldn't. Well, at least I wasn't like my router as a gateway, and then I'm out to the internet. It was like through their system, which is fine, you know. I mean, I wasn't paying any extra for it. It was just a flat rate. But this would make it, and I used it a little bit there, but I really didn't understand or like utilize the full potential. I'm sure I'm not even using the full potential now, but I'm now realizing that I could have had my own FTP server up at the time and run it like that. I could have run it right out of that place. You could run it like at school. The school that I go to, they disallow FTP transfers, but they don't disallow FTP. Like you can connect to a machine, but you can't download or upload to it while you're on the school's network. But if you're running a Hamachi client or you know, the Hamachi program on your machine with that adapter, that virtual adapter, it would just see it as if it was right there, and it just transfers right on through. So you could set up a FTP server on any network, anywhere, and you could manage it, and then you could hide it somewhere, and as long as they couldn't detect it on their network, which they would be able to detect it, but it'd be hard for them to like physically find it probably. Like at a school, they wouldn't probably worry because it's just there's so many devices all the time, and if you gave it some weird name, made it like, you know, call it like, because Android devices, the phones, the tablets, it says like Android, then a bunch of numbers and letters, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a phone. I don't know which phone it is, but it's that. So if you copied one of those and gave that as your machine's name on the network, then you'd be like, oh yeah, you know, just using like a simple, like, just disguise. Don't call it like Server of Doom, unless you know that's what you want to do. But it'd be hard for them to probably physically locate it, especially if it was a wireless device that you could, like, you know, put in a little box somewhere, hide it somewhere in a wall. I don't know. You could use a Raspberry Pi for this. I was thinking about that last night because I've seen the tutorial on Lifehacker's website where they make you use a Raspberry Pi as a, what is it? You use it as a proxy. You use it as a browsing proxy. So like you set up Hamachi on it, and then you connect your machine to your other, you know, your Raspberry Pi that has a Hamachi device or adapter on it, a little virtual adapter, and then you run a proxy server on it. So when you connect your browser back to your little Raspberry Pi Hamachi proxy, all of your internet traffic is routed out of your, you know, this would probably be your home. But I don't know, I mean, it could be a great way to set up stuff. I don't know, it's kind of thinking, I feel like I'd love for people to jump on this and, like, you know, comments and ideas and other videos, like video responses. Let's get a conversation going on, like, you know, some problem solving, a little bit of engineering here. Because it's always fun. I love projects. And if we could get something like, you know, if people were interested in this, because I definitely am. This is what goes through my mind at night before I sleep. When I wake up, it's like, oh yeah, I've got that going on. That's cool. That's fun. But please, I'd love to see some responses, some ideas, and you know, some collaborative engineering. But that was my idea. I probably didn't express that idea very clearly. It probably took way too long. I can see this going for like 9.5 minutes. Probably go longer, about 10 minutes maybe. But yeah, it's a cool idea, I thought, and I thought I'd share it with everybody. So that's it. Have a good one. Oh, also, we could probably set up a virtual internet, like websites and stuff. You connect to this Hamachi proxy or Hamachi thing, and get it going like that, where you could only log on to the website or visit the website on that virtual network. Because you can, I've messed around with it before, where you install Apache on your machine, and then you run you run a small website off it. I mean, this could just be like, because I'm thinking, I was really interested in like the darknets and stuff. I know that's like seedy and like you don't really trust it, and most people don't. It's just like, I don't know about this. This is I mean, that's where they do some gross stuff. Like, I don't even want to mention it. It's just gross. But it's a place for the, like, as our internet becomes more and more locked down and less free, we're pushed to these places where it's like I don't feel like I have any other option other than to go completely underground, and that's fine, because we would make this special part of the internet, this like lower layer that we all reside in and we do our business in, and let the companies and the media, like all these people, let them have the regular internet. We'll just be safe and secure in our lower level. It'll be a secret thing, and this already goes on, I'm sure. I am not the most brilliant person ever, and I know that. And I didn't make any of these things. I'm just using them in a way that's like, hey, that should make it work. So I'm thinking this is already done. People just don't talk about it. And if they do it, they do it for like corporate reasons, like set up a VPN and you get on your VPN from wherever you are in the world, and you're virtually connected back to your work network or your home network or whatever your network is. But I think that way, I mean, FTP, the reason that FTP is cool and that Samba's great for when it's a machine right next to you and you want to use it like you would one of your regular drives. But on a virtual network or over the internet, FTP is better because when you're transferring a file, at least the clients, if you use a client like FileZilla or some other client, it gives you a progress bar, and there's a bunch of other options. So like if your download or file transfer was disconnected, then you could resume that, and it would give you the option rather than just to like overwrite and start over. If you get to 95.5%, you don't want to do the whole thing over, especially on like a 4 gigabyte file or bigger. You want to start over right there, or start where you left off, and it just finishes the transfer rather than doing the whole thing over like Samba would do. If you sever the connection in Samba, if you're using it like that, then it's not going to come back where you left off. You're going to have to start all over again. It's going to ask you, do you want to overwrite? And you're like, geez, fine, whatever. So you do that. But this way, I mean, we use this method, and Hamachi's great for lots of things. I hear a lot of people playing video games on it and stuff, like playing some small LAN games, and that's really cool. And I wish that I got that to work. I don't know. I just don't have a lot of people that want to play LAN games. So it's like, if they want to play, we usually just get together physically. Especially with the huge network that I've got. I've got, here, I'll show you. I'm at my home now, but there's across that fence, there's a little white cable, and it runs back around the back of my house, and it goes to this neighbor right here. So they're connected to my network, so they can stream the stuff over my Samba server. And then it goes down to that house that's sticking out. That house is connected, and then the other one right across from it, that's connected. So we've got quite the network here. I've never made a video about this, and I don't really want to talk about it too much because I don't want people to be like, hey, you can't do that. That's not okay. That's whatever. Because I wanted to be able to do what I want. I'm an engineer. I'm not somebody that's like, well, what about the legality? Like, is it physically possible? Of course it's possible, but let's do it because it's cool, not because you can't do that. Like, don't tell me I can't do that. That just wants to make me do it more. It makes me want to do it more. Sorry, my grammar gets messed up sometimes. Anyway, this has gone on too long. But yeah, let's get a conversation going, and I'd love to do this some more. Let's keep talking about it. Have a good one.